moving.
Believe it. Okay.
What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 386 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
Yo.
And this week, we're geeking out about democracy winning the fight against PSN. I've never played that game. I hope I did that right.
You did.
Superman suiting up. And Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai is awesome. Yeah, there's nothing more really to say about Cobra Kai. It's amazing. Before we get into all of the news and stuff, though, we'll talk about what we're gaming. LJ, what are you playing lately?
Yeah, so I've got into Stardew quite a bit. I'm playing across my PC and my Steam Deck, which is really cool.
Nice.
I've been really into that a lot lately, actually. Like, that whole aspect of, like, that's one thing I've been really loving about my Steam Deck. So I can go, hang out in the living room or whatever, play some little bit of Stardew. Like I literally played on my bed this morning while my nephew played on his iPad. I got my nephew into it last night. Told him about the game because he has Power Wash Simulator and stuff like that. Like, he knows like the stuff I play, and then so I was like, oh, you could check this game out. And because my sister was real big into Harvest Moon back in the day too, so I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, is it on iPad? And I'm like, I don't think so. And then he found it on Apple Arcade. I guess there's like a Plus version on Apple Arcade. So he was playing on his iPad, and I was playing on my Steam Deck and on my computer and stuff. So that's super cool. It's real nice because I guess that aspect, I'll sit there and I started playing my own lo-fi music or whatever, while I play the game, and it's a whole vibe. It's like it's been the perfect way to unwind during a long week. I worked a double, and then I had to work Saturday, so it was just exactly what I needed.
That's kind of been me. I've come home and just been like, I'm gonna go play Stardew and kind of zone out for an hour or two.
Yeah, it's been real perfect for that. And I'm not even trying to do anything too crazy. I'm still early on. I got the Adventures Guild thing. I'm working on building a silo. Because I want to have a ranch, so that's kind of what I'm looking.
I love having a ranch. My personal farm is basically just ranch.
Yeah, that's I have some crops, but that's what I want to do. So it's I want to get whatever
Taking
other
care of the
animals
chickens and the cows and the goats and the pigs.
So so one of the farms you start with, I think I talked about this last time, is a ranch. And I actually couldn't find the chicken coop at first, and I was like, oh, it's in the top corner. But I named my chickens Bebop and Rocksteady, just because we've been talking about turtles at the time. And I was like, yeah, so it was perfect because you start with 2 of them. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, is building a silo, and then eventually I want to get more animals and stuff. So it was really cool. It's been really cool just to play that, and then just to show my nephew how to play the game. And apparently he told his mom, my sister, about it, and I guess, so they could, I don't know if you can play together on, the iPad or iPhone version, but I was like, yeah, I know they both have it. They both have Apple Arcade, and I guess she was telling him this morning that she downloaded it last night and was, messing around with the fishing, so I was like, yeah, I'm getting, we're getting everybody into this game, so it's exciting.
Nice. Yeah, it's so good. Mm-hmm. It really has something for everybody, because, again, I'm not even really a farming sim girly, really. I'm not really a cozy game girly. It's kind of hard for me to get in those games, but once you kind of there's a little something for everybody, even if you and it's been really easy for me to get back into it with co-op too, because I'm I really like the fishing and mining and sort of that sort of thing, whereas the friend I'm playing with is really good with the foraging and doing some other stuff, farming things and kind of keeping track of that. And it's so combined efforts, you kind of get to do what you want. And, if you don't like fishing, you don't have to fish. If you don't like mining, you don't have to mine. You don't have to do any of those things if you don't want to. I mean, you kind of do if you wanted to beat the community center, but that's totally optional. That is not really, it's just a thing in the game that exists. You don't have to go for it. If you want to romance or be friends with the townspeople, you can, but if you don't have to. It's really great.
If you don't want to, really.
Exactly, you really don't have to. It's I really appreciate the variety in that way, and it doesn't really feel like anything's pressured, whereas I think a lot of other sim games, it's you really have to kind of do everything.
If you like fighting stuff, you can go to the dungeon and mine for ore and kill monsters.
That could be your thing. Yeah. And then you can level up, and so rewards you for showing all these new things.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate one of the new features. where it like basically tells you when you're about to level up, because it'll give like, if you're like, maybe say you're in the middle of the mines and you're fighting and you just like kill a goblet or a little slime or something, and it says you have some things to sleep over. Like it's like you have some things to think about.
That's cool.
Like a little pop up, and that's basically that tells you that you're gonna level up that night, which is so helpful.
Yeah.
Because if you really are just trying to grind to that next level, all of a sudden you don't need to spend an entire day, like basically wasting half a day potentially.
I think there was a
grinding.
About farming too, or something like that when I was farming. It tells you something.
It's the same.
Like that. Yeah.
It's for all of them, right? So
Okay,
it's like all the different levels ups.
Yeah.
I think that's super helpful because then you just kind of keep that in mind in your brain, like, oh, cool, I'm gonna level up. Especially again for like more grindy ones like fishing, mining, fighting. It makes it way easier, so you know that, oh, I leveled up, and if that's what you're going for, cool, then you can like leave and do something else with your time instead of just literally committing an entire day to it.
Yeah, it's super cool. But I'm glad I'm getting back
Great
into
game.
it.
Good game.
Yeah.
It's cool to see it get a resurgence. Like it's such an old game at this
And
point.
it's not just
It
us
really-
getting
yeah,
into
it's-
it. It's like a bunch of
it's a new patch,
other
baby.
People have been playing it again. Yeah.
It's the new patch. This is what happens when a developer or developers actually continue to support their game with new content that's free. Like this is how you create a game that just continually everyone just plays, new and old. You know, people have been playing for a long time, keep coming back to it, and new fans come back to it or come to it in the first place. And you know, it seems like other teams are just like, how can we get people to stick with our game? It's like, actually, it's not that difficult. Just keep providing usually free content. Like that is make it easy to mod, make it easy to play on different systems, right? Switch and PC and like phone. Like you can play kind of on whatever you want. Like it's like Minecraft.
Yeah. And that was the gateway actually for me to get my nephew in, because he knows the tools from Minecraft. He knows what a pickaxe is, what a pickaxe does. He knows what this does.
Yeah.
And so it was actually interesting playing on an iPad, because you can literally touch a part on the screen and your character will walk to that, you know, block, or you know, you can hit like touch a tree or a stone or something, and he'll literally just chip away at it. So yeah, it's interesting.
It's a good game.
Yeah. So it's been good to get back into that. The other thing I've been getting back into, and we'll get into more of this, is I re-downloaded Hades on my Switch this morning. And
Heck yeah.
and not even so. We'll get into like how it just randomly released today, but I know they actually had like the closed test like a week or two ago, and I just had it in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, I should really get back into Hades. And then so I downloaded it on my Switch last night, played a little bit this morning, and it had been a while. But I was like, oh, I literally still got past the first boss like no problem. Like it almost felt like muscle memory kicked back in after a minute. I still need to beat the game, so I might try to power through it. Maybe just throw some tunes on or something. And the game is on sale right now for if anybody has not grabbed it yet, because I remembered that the Steam version and Switch version have crossplay, and I was like, oh, like I have it on my Switch, but I feel like the Switch version you do lose a little bit of like fidelity. I guess.
Yeah, I have it on Switch. And I'm definitely going to get Hades 2 on PC. Like, it was great for Switch while it lasted, but I don't use my Switch almost at all anymore. But, yeah.
I literally turned on my Switch again for the first time in like a month recently, just because I'm playing so much Steam and Steam Deck. But no, it's been really good. Like, I literally downloaded Hades actually just before we started the podcast, so that way I could do the crossplay thing, because my issue was I don't want to lose my save and all my progress, and I'm like, oh,
exactly,
I don't have to. So,
which honestly, that's enough for me to maybe think about getting it too, especially if it's on sale, because I kind of want to get back into it too, and I also didn't want to leave any of my data.
Yeah, I think it's like $8.99 right now. So
I might look into that. I might do that actually. I really don't like buying the same game for different systems.
Yeah.
It's not something I like to do at all, but if I can carry over my save, because I do miss Hades. It's been a long time, but at this point, I'm kind of like, maybe I should just play Hades too.
Yeah, like anyway. For me, I don't want to start, especially since it's in early access, but...
True, that's a good point.
I want to finish Hades 1. Not that you probably necessarily have to, I don't know that for sure yet, but I'm like, you know what, like that would be a really big accomplishment for me, because like I've never beat like a roguelike or anything, but I'm like, Hades is one of those ones that's like I probably could. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna try and do. So
Do it.
We'll talk about more Hades in a little while. But yeah, it's been fun.
Heck yeah.
What have you been playing, Shelley?
We already mentioned Stardew, so really nothing more for that from me. But more importantly, I have finally gone back to Final Fantasy 16 to play the DLC. I bought the expansion pass a while ago, and the second DLC finally came out somewhat recently. So
Nice.
I thought, okay, now's a good opportunity to play both DLCs, and I beat the first one, Echoes of the Fallen. So cool. It took me, I think, one reason it took me so long to go back to play it was because it is one of those games where there's a bit of a skill floor, a little bit. Like, I mean, and this is the case with a lot of games, especially RPGs, where it's like, if you wait and you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do, like, anything? And you're just, like, really bad at the game. This is one that you kind of have to know what you're doing, especially at the end game. So I basically, like, went to the training room, because there's a training room, which is great, because it is sort of, you know, very DMC inspired, right? So I went to the training room, kind of played around. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get the drive of this. And what's cool is that you can replay levels, but you can keep the same, like, level and skills that you currently have, which is really neat. I like that a lot. So I actually replayed one of the first levels just to, like, even though I was overpowered, it didn't really matter. I was just like, I just need to get back in the groove and, like, figure out, like, get the muscle memory back. And I de-rusted a lot. I'm not perfect, but I got back to kind of my combos and my systems, kind of how it was working. I'm like, okay, I understand the flow again.
Got back into that,
which is what I needed. So then I started playing Echoes of the Fallen. Oh, it's so cool. Beautiful game. Very cool. It kind of expands on some of the lore in the world of Final Fantasy 16, which is interesting. I like that a lot. I mean, both DLCs do kind of talk about lore, but different types of lore, right? So I don't really know much to say about it. The final battle was insane, and I don't want to, like, spoil it for Echoes of the Fallen specifically. I don't want to spoil it, but it was like,
those fights are, I mean, in, like,
it
even
was
in the main
crazy.
game are so nutty. Like, the boss fights are probably the best part of the
all
game.
the boss fights are crazy, and, like, again, that's, like, sort of the best parts of them, low-key. But it was nuts. Like, again, anyone who knows, right? Everyone who knows and who's played it, they know what I'm talking about. I was like, there's a little bit of a suspension of belief, though. Okay, maybe there's a ton of suspension of belief for the whole game. It's a fantasy, obviously.
That game
but there's
does get wild.
there was, I think even more
for a Final
so,
Fantasy game, that game gets wild.
even more so for just something that happens at the very end where I'm just like, huh? But it was crazy. It's like, it was so stupid, but it actually put down so much pressure. And it made it so fun, because it was just one of those moments where it's like, you need to kill the boss right now. You need to do it as fast as possible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta press all the buttons. I gotta, and like, there's stuff flying at you, and everything's getting smaller, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And yeah, it was very super fun. Also got some busted items. It's funny because they also, so recently in one of the other updates, they added a feature where you can change the appearance of how you look, and especially, like, your sword. You can have the stats of your, like, best sword, for example, but then you could have it look like a different sword, which, like, I love the attention to aesthetics. I love that they are, like, they want you to care about aesthetics. I love that. So one thing you can have is you can have the Buster Sword.
Oh, nice.
Which, like, as a sword isn't actually all that good, but looks great. But then the sword I got from the end of this DLC, I was like, I don't know. It looks too cool. So I actually turned off the Buster Sword. I was like, I'll just play Final Fantasy Rebirth eventually, and I'll just be able to use the Buster Sword then. It's fine. Yeah, so that's really cool. I'm a big fan of that. I feel like I had something else to say about it, and then I forgot, but I recommend. My friend got me a Torgal plushie. So that was also my inspiration to get back into the game. I got the little Torgal pup, and he's so awesome. Cute. And also one of the most recent updates, they shortened. I'm like, what word am I trying to find? They shortened the cooldown timer to pet Torgal. So now you could do it way more often, which I'm like, thank the Lord, because I wanted to pet him more, and now you can pet him more.
That's awesome.
And he deserves all the good things. So, anyway, very good. Play the game. Play the DLC. It's fun.
Yeah, that was one that I kind of missed out on so far.
Yeah.
There's so many games that I should go back and play.
Well, actually, now I remember what I was gonna say. If you like some of the ideas behind like Dark Souls, but you're intimidated by Dark Souls, like me, and you feel like you'd be really bad, Dark Souls is a game where it's like you just got to get good, you got to read what the enemies are doing, you have to like really know exactly what they're doing so you could call it out, basically.
Yep.
If you like the idea of that, but Dark Souls is too hard for you, or you just don't want to deal with that nonsense, this is a great game for you because it takes that concept, it's a little less extreme, way more flashy, and if you do find yourself, and there may be a way to turn off this feature if you don't like it, I actually don't know, there might be a way, but if you find yourself halfway through a big boss, and honestly the bosses take forever in this game, so thank goodness for me, if you die, they'll let you restart from a checkpoint, and they'll give you a bunch of potions. So you don't have to do all that work again. You kind of just pick up where you left off. Nice. Not literally right where you left off. Usually it's at the beginning of whatever that phase was, because usually most bosses are multiple phases.
Yeah.
So you still have to like try. But I like that because I'm baby and I don't really want to like... I like enjoying my boss fights in such a way where I don't have to literally do it over and over and over and over and over again to finally win. And
with the DLC then.
Huh?
Did they heighten the challenge at all with the DLC then? Because I didn't find the game.
Well, I couldn't tell if I was just bad because it's been a long time, but it felt pretty hard to me personally. Nice. Again, it could just be because I wasn't with it like I used to be.
I mean, I would.
I'm not hit with it,
especially
but
with the DMC influenced combat, like I wonder if it was like more challenging on purpose, like.
Yeah, that last fight and the Echoes of the Fallen was definitely pretty hard. That's where I died, but it's fine. So anyway, I don't know. I know some people are super adamant of like, no, I need to like be able to do it on my own and like whatever. But for me, I just start to get really tired of a boss fight. And sometimes the payoff at the end isn't worth it to me personally. I know for others it is, and that's why they love Dark Souls and Souls-like games in general. But if you're like me and you want to actually enjoy it the whole time and you want to be... you want a game to pat you on the back and give you a little Gatorade and throw you back in the ring instead of just saying get good and spit in your face. This is a good game for you. So I'm trying to convince my husband to play it as his summer game. But anyway, sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent.
No, that's cool.
Good game.
Yeah. We'll get into the gaming then. LJ, we were talking about Hades earlier.
Yeah, so I'm just going to lead into that. I mean, not much to say. Hades 2, like, it's kind of huge that it did drop all of a sudden.
Yeah, they were, like, doing some technical tests and stuff, and
it was like 2 weeks
they were doing
ago,
a beta, and and I was like, man, I can't believe I missed the beta. I'm not going to be able to play this game forever. And all of a sudden, it's on early access, and I'm like, oh my god.
I'm like, what? That's exciting. So it's... then that's kind of like... I felt like I was already motivated to, like, go back and play the first one. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think you need to play the first one. I could be totally wrong. It's totally about
I have a feeling it's going to reference the first game, but you probably don't need to play it.
Like, it'd be one of those things, like, I wonder if it's happening at the same time kind of thing. Like, I have no idea. I might check it out at some point, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know if I really want on early access or if I want to wait, but it's just really exciting that it's, like, out.
I mean, that's how the first one started out, was early access. Supergiant games are so good, too. Like, even, like, I know Hades is the one that got them, like noticed,
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Bastion is so good, Pyre is so good, Transistor, like, all of their games they make are, like, of a certain quality. Even in early access, I bet you Hades 2 is still solid.
Yeah, and they're, like, again, very similar to, like, Concerned Ape. They're a dev team that likes to just release more... usually free updates to keep the game going. I remember that was definitely a thing for Hades, and that's certainly going to be a thing for Hades too, which is another reason why people kept coming back to play it. The replay value on Hades is, I'm going to say it, best replay value of any game I've ever played.
Yeah,
Hades is crazy with replay.
Really good too.
So Hades 2 is just going to be the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess it's $30 right now. I think that's what the original game was priced at, or close to. Mm-hmm. I would say, I mean, at least like I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna make a real hard try at finishing the first one. But this one is about Zagreus' sister going after Kronos. is like the basic idea,
which is so cool.
Because the whole point was the first one was Hades' son going after Hades.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, these games, it's like the combat and just everything is so good. The characters are really good. Apparently, like everybody's making comments about how the characters look just as they're actually all the different. They got redesigns, I guess, too. I saw, and so everybody's like, oh yeah, all these characters look as good as ever too. Well, yeah, looks like a fun game. Not really much to say except like we got this before Silksong, which is kind of wild to me. I know everybody's still waiting for that, so yeah, it's out now. I just wanted to like talk about it for a minute, just because I think a lot of people in gaming chat have we played the first one quite a bit, so yeah, that's all to say about Hades 2. Just wanted to give it its flowers basically, and then the biggest thing this past week was Helldivers 2. And this isn't the devs. I do want to clarify that. It's definitely a Sony thing. There's been, I think the debate started with Ghost of Tsushima because you're going to actually have to log in to a PlayStation account to, like, if you want the PlayStation overlay and for the Legends mode in that game, like the co-op mode. But for Helldivers 2, they, I guess, had a certain update they were going to make where you had to link your Steam account with the game.
Which is so...
Yeah.
Huh?
People were mad. People were very upset, which rightfully so. I guess, PlayStation is still figuring out what they want to do on the PC market, supposedly. I think, and a lot of other people think that this is probably due to, not only crossplay, I guess, but you can actually buy stuff. There are microtransactions in Helldivers. So potentially, like, I guess it kind of goes back to the whole Apple and Epic thing. If you have your own, ecosystem on this other platform, you technically don't have to pay like Steam, or like Steam doesn't have to get part of that transaction. So potentially they could have just taken all that money for themselves, because there's plenty of microtransactions. Well, yeah, there's like different armor pieces you could buy and different like little passes you could buy for Helldivers if you truly want some of that. Like, it's totally optional. But yeah, Sony decided they were walking that back after the outrage. So I say good on Sony for doing that. But it's like, why would you shoot yourself in the foot that badly? Like, Helldivers is honestly like, it's honestly on the list for like one of the best-selling games of 2024 already. And so it's just, and then like it got review bombed and everything, like it was just because of that, which is just like, yeah, y'all kind of like, and then I feel like they also did the devs dirty too on that. Like, it was definitely a demand on Sony's part, and so yeah, it's just kind of crazy. I love this game, and I know so many people have put tons and tons of time on this, so it's just like, why would you do something like that? So it's just, I'm glad they walked it back, because this was gonna or if not already, like, this is gonna ruin people actually like wanting to play the game. Like, it would have probably killed the game, especially for PC players, because this game is big on PC too. So yeah, glad they walked it back, but there's not really much else to say there. Yeah,
cool. We will get into movies then. LJ and I believe neither of us watched movies this week, but Shelley did.
Yeah, so Star Wars, am I right?
Yeah.
May the 4th.
Yeah, May the 4th. So my husband and I were like, well, we got to watch a Star War. Which war are we going to watch? Which one are we going to do? We're not going to watch a whole Star Wars because that's a trilogy, but we're like, okay, we were thinking about like Rogue One, just because Rogue One's so good, but we're like, let's watch a bad movie. Let's watch Phantom Menace, because it's been so long. Like, and I didn't even think about it. I've seen every other movie like so many more times over recently than Phantom Menace. So watch Phantom Menace. It's a weird movie. It's not that bad. I feel like it makes sense why. Like, I kept trying to imagine myself in a position where I'm like, okay, imagine if I had just only ever seen the original trilogy. That's the only Star Wars content that's basically out, at least that people know about. And then they release Phantom Menace in theaters. Yeah, no wonder people don't like it. But honestly, maybe this isn't a good takeaway. But just given other Star Wars content that's come out, Phantom Menace is not that bad, guys. Everyone's like, oh, the acting's bad.
It's really not.
Acting's not that bad. Like, Anakin's actor acts like a 9-year-old child. That's how they talk. That's how they act. And I never noticed the obviously blatant parallels between Anakin and Luke. Like, I don't know why I just didn't. It's been a while since I watched the movie, right? It's been over 10 years probably. So I just wasn't really privy to all those things. So I think part of it is just knowing more about Star Wars now has helped. But yeah, I don't know. It's not bad. Jar Jar really is super unnecessary. He's super important in the beginning because they run into him and he basically saves their life. And then he's just there the rest of the movie. And he's like, which is crazy. And obviously I loved Jar Jar as a kid. So fine. They did it for the kids and the kids.
It's funny because you still get C-3PO and R2 anyway. So it's like,
yeah, like. It's just like, I kind of forget that R2 was already an established droid. And then, like, I knew Anakin made C-3PO, but I kind of just, like, forgot how they met and all that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, imagine being in theaters and just, like, watching this happen. So, that's kind of crazy. Anyway, no, still enjoyable.
I skipped third grade. I skipped school that day.
I think I also saw this in theaters.
Nice. Yeah. I did not see it in theaters, but this movie is... Yeah. The cause of the first nightmare I ever remember in my entire life, because I remember watching Clone Wars, I think for the first time as a child, and I was not in theaters. I was at home, and I remember seeing Darth Maul get cut in half. Spoilers, sorry, he gets cut in half. He comes back later in Clone Wars, but as far as fan man knows, that's how he dies. Is he gets cut in half, and I remember like having a nightmare about like people getting cut in half, and I thought that was like so scary. I just like did not. It was traumatizing for me. So whenever I see that scene, I'm always like, oh my gosh, it's this.
Yeah.
And also like kind of gutsy to make Qui-Gon your protagonist who also dies at the end. I'm just like, dude, he is the protagonist. Like you can't deny that. He is like the main character of the movie.
Filoni says about that moment though. Like I guess like Dave Filoni's thing is like, oh no, Qui-Gon had to die because that was like the final straw before the fall, like, you know, before everything fell. And I was like,
which totally makes sense.
I'm like, that's good. Like,
he's such an upstanding guy.
It makes that movie mean so much more. Like, you know, this is where it all goes downhill. Like, you know,
yeah, it's the beginning and the end, truly. Yes. And I feel like, I think another thing is again that neither Daniel or I like noticed originally, and then just suddenly knows all the time watching this time around. It's just how liberal he is using the Force, like, all the time. Qui-Gon Jinn uses the Force all the time to, like, manipulate people or, like, fight the droids or whatever. I'm just like, dude uses the Force constantly, which is very cool, and I love that. It's just, like, I don't see that very often, so I just thought it was funny how he just is constantly using it. You're kind of like, oh, that's why Obi-Wan uses it all the time, just because he learned from Qui-Gon. So, good movie. I get why people don't like it. It's still definitely a weaker one, but I... liked it better than some of the other ones. So
yeah. I've kind of been like that with like Attack of the Clones recently. I feel like I've been a little bit of an Attack of the Clones like apologist. Like, yeah, even though it's still not great either. But you know, like the prequel series is not that bad. Like I think. It's still kind of not. No, it's still not great, but
no, it holds a special place in my heart though, because it really. I mean, it is the trilogy I grew up with for sure, is the prequels. So yep, and I love those funny little droids. I love those guys. It is funny how they have different voices in Phantom Menace though. They have the lower voices and then they get higher voices later. They're like more intimidating and then later they're like funny and stupid. And I love the funny and stupid droids. They're so great. That's why we played as them at Battlefront when we were taking over the Empire. We're like, we're gonna be the separatists, we're gonna be the droids.
Oh yeah.
Roger.
Roger.
They talk so much in Clone Wars too. I don't know how much Clone Wars you've watched.
They super do. I've seen enough to.
They're so funny.
They do not shut up. We watched recently. I guess I could talk about the TV section, but I'm talking about now. One of the episodes where they have to like some of the clones. They're just like, oh, let's just pretend to be this droid, like we cut off one of their heads, and they have to get through a door and like scan the head, and the guy's just like, Roger, Roger, and he's like, are you okay? And then it's like, Roger, Roger. And then it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I watched.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll get into the movie news then.
Sure. We don't have a ton to talk about today when it comes to movies. The first thing we should talk about is He-Man. They're making a live-action He-Man. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I completely forgot if so. But they're making a live action
in context of like they just had that Revelations cartoon come out. I know we've reported on this before. Like
yeah, okay. I just didn't. Yeah. I didn't really remember. I wasn't sure. But either way, we got a. Things. Yeah, definitely. It's just we talk about a lot of things.
Like I feel like once a year we hear about this movie.
Totally, yeah. There's always like these weird He-Man things going on, like whether it's a show or She-Ra or whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a movie.
It's supposed to be a movie.
Okay.
It's supposed to be coming out June 5th, 2026. Obviously, we don't know, like, that's just their goal. And then it's the director of Bumblebee. It's Travis Knight. So I think he also did Paranorman, Missing Link. He worked on those. Working with Butler. Okay, cool. So, yeah, those are good movies. Interesting. So he worked on a lot of claymation. That's so interesting. This is not going to be claymation. But anyway, I don't really have much to say about He-Man. I've never been very attached to He-Man, but obviously I feel like they have the opportunity to make something really fun. I think this could be like a Thor Ragnarok kind of situation. I feel like they could make it fun and goofy, but who knows? Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll try to.
I think they could too.
Maybe they'll make it bad. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be bad. Speaking of, I don't know, maybe bad live actions potentially. So
it's gonna be great. It's James Gunn.
I know. Well, James, it's probably gonna be fine, honestly. But he posts on Instagram with sort of like a first look, quote unquote, with Superman, and it's just a picture of what's his face, Superman, new Superman, not Henry Cavill, but he looks just like Henry Cavill. Like, I'm like, dude, if you're gonna get a different guy to play Superman, at least get someone who looks different. Like, he literally looks the same, and he's probably gonna try to act Superman. The same as Henry Cavill. Whatever, but it's like him like putting on his boots in like a nice looking place on a comfy chair while there's like something blowing up in the background, which like is kind of a fun little concept. But people keep dogging on the outfit because they're just like, I can't believe it's so wrinkly and gross and like dirty and like washed out. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, people like hate the suit. I'm sure many suits actually look like this when it comes to superhero movies, and they just CGI out the wrinkles. They CGI out the imperfections, like, and so this is just without that.
Either. Like, I think
no, it's not gonna be. It's probably not perfectly custom fit. I mean, it's supposed to be probably, but people are like, man, he's not like buff enough to fill it out. I'm like, I don't know, man. He's a human. He's not actually Superman.
Yeah,
like I get that. It's like I get that. Like, come on, it's just a first look. First looks are not that edited, so whatever. People are complaining is kind of funny, but I also...
It definitely looks more like some kind of suit or like a uniform rather than like, like a skin tight thing or like
yeah, it does.
It looks like it's not meant to be alien. Yeah, like it doesn't look like it's meant to be as form fitting as like
I actually think it looks kind of cool with the shoulder pads and stuff.
Yeah.
The underwear didn't need to happen.
The underwear is kind of funny. Like, we'll have to see how that looks.
Red undies. Come on, James Gunn.
I do like how the like cape sits on, because I'm looking at it now. I do like how it sits on the shoulders too, kind of. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the boots aren't that bad. Like, I mean, I don't know.
I like the boots.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie just needs to
tread going on.
I don't know what it's gonna look like, because
it does kind of look like a magazine cover or something, or like a magazine, like, like I don't know what you call like the main feature in like a magazine. But
yeah, it does look like that. I don't know. I just feel like I get that you don't want to rehire Henry Cavill because maybe there's creative differences, maybe there's other reasons, maybe you just really want a fresh start with like new people. But when I see this, it looks like Henry Cavill, and if he's just gonna act like him, which maybe he won't. I guess what I'm saying is I'm interested to see if this movie will have him like what will James Gunn's sort of direction with Superman be?
Yeah.
And will it really be that different
than
than
Zack Snyder really ruined Superman for like everybody. Like I feel like
I think he won't. I don't think he'll act like Henry Cavill, but I do think he'll look a lot like it.
Which
but
is
I don't
that's
think he'll be
fair.
brooding. I think he's gonna be very like everything is awesome all the time, super positive. Like even the picture, like he's like got burn marks. Obviously, he's been fighting. He's putting on his boot or whatever. But like he seems very unbothered while the world is just ending. I think he's just a positive dude, and that's what Superman is to be. It's just I got this, no problem.
I just love
again my favorite. But give me a minute. Like let me put my shoes on.
It's just my favorite Superman portrayal as of late. Really, still is My Adventures with Superman. Also, there's gonna be more.
I was so excited when you said that was coming back soon. I was like,
that's coming back soon, which is really exciting. But
really
he is, he is a little bit of a goofball. He's still figuring things out, and he really is just so positive and so protective, and I don't know. So I think, like again, that's also very.
That's what I've been telling people. I'm like, oh, you actually want to like Superman? Like, go watch that show.
Just watch the show.
Yeah.
Easy.
Things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be cool. But I guess we'll have to see. That's really all we have for movie news, though. It's been pretty slow this week.
Cool. We will get into TV then. I have been watching more Free Run. We're on episode 12, I think. Nice. 25 episodes or so. Man, I'm still loving that show. It's
good.
So good.
That reminds me, I need to watch Kaiju number 8. That came out recently, too. Like, that's another anime that I've been hearing.
There's kind of an element of being OP, which has been a lot of fun to watch. It's really hard to do, but I feel like more and more anime are kind of, like, doing that.
Yeah.
Where she just is, like, unstoppable, and you just have to live with it. And they're like, oh, you want a fight scene? We don't do fight scenes here. And it's just over real quick.
Yeah, I wonder if like One Punch Man kind of started that like kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch still, and it makes sense for the show because the show isn't really about like the action and stuff. It is more about, like I've said before, there's more of an essay.
Yeah, it's like like even like Mob Psycho 100. Like he is OP. He could be anybody, but then that's not really what the show's about so much.
Right.
It's about him and like growing up, and it's about other people who are like jealous of his power and get confused as to why he acts the way he does, and his relationships, and I love Mob Psycho 100 so much.
So highly recommend. And then LJ, me and you have been watching X-Men. I'm on episode 5.
X-Men.
So
I decided I had to watch this because I saw. I don't think it's a big spoiler. It was all over social media. But if you don't want to know anything, maybe block out for just a second. But the Watcher being appearing in one of the episodes. It's very brief.
Excuse me?
It's like a background thing. Like it's a very.
I can't tune off this podcast.
And I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known it was there unless I had been told on social media. I actually had to go back through the episode and look for it. But that was just me being unobservant. It's not super integral to the story. It just was enough for me to go.
It's very much.
I gotta check the show out.
It's very much a nod so far.
Yeah. And I'm sure it'll pay off at some point, but like for me, it was now I have to watch this because it's MCU related.
Yeah, something is going to connect.
Way.
I mean, there are other teases and other movies that have already happened that are that are X-Men connected. So
so that was really neat to me. I don't want to give too much more away than that. I think that's just like a pretty big.
Watch it. Like I feel like ever since the show has been out, I've just been telling everybody watch the show.
Yeah,
even if you have to watch.
I was there for the podcast. And I need to say this, it was, the first episode comes out, and it's kind of like, hey, remember the show when you watched when you were a kid? Look, it's that kid's show you watched. And then episode 2 goes, and we're adults now.
Yep.
And we're going to be serious.
Yep.
And you go, oh, okay.
Cool.
It's almost Invincible-like. It's not quite as over the edge as Invincible, but it is like...
It feels halfway there.
It kind of reminds me of, when I read Alias... That was about Jessica Jones. And that one's like quite rated R, but the same idea where they like keep having these like flashbacks that are even stylistically different of when Jessica Jones was a superhero. and kind of like how things were like, and everything was like really positive until things weren't, you know, and Purple Man kind of came into play. But it's like a very stark, like, again, even with the art, it's like a very stark contrast kind of. Yeah. And it's like, now we're adults now, like, and I
would almost be hesitant to say, yeah, go ahead and watch this with your kids. Like, it's that. I don't know what it's rated. But it feels very mature.
It walks a line, I feel like. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not, like, there's not anything, like, graphic or anything in it. It's just, like, it's got heavy...
Right, there's no gore, there's no nudity.
It's just got big themes. Like, it just has very heavy themes.
It's heavy, it's like, dark.
As far as, like, and thematically, not just, like, suggestive things, like, it's just, like, you know, it's tackling a lot. I'd say it's tackling a lot of issues, like, that our world faces today. In a good way. It's not just like, oh, we're gonna pander to you or throw this in a face. It's like, nope, our world is actually struggling with these things. And that's kind of what I admire the way that it's handled, especially like the writing and stuff like that. Like, the writing is really good.
It really surprised me. I didn't think that it would be as intense as it is.
Yeah,
I guess. I figured it would be a continuation of X-Men, and I wasn't really all that interested because I never really watched the show. I was more of an X-Men Evolution kid, and so
I would say if you gotta watch a YouTube video, like a catch-up video or something of the original series, then definitely do that, because the last couple seasons of the original series are rough. They're pretty rough. So I would recommend a YouTube, like, not saying like, oh, you shouldn't go back and watch the original, but it's like, for anybody that wants to like catch up quick, I think a video would suffice.
Cool. I will say that watching without any knowledge, I've been able to pick up, you know, as long as you know who the characters are, I think that you can watch this. A
baseline knowledge on most of them is pretty solid.
I did think it was interesting, kind of unrelated, but there was the voice of Spider-Man from the originals, like Spider-Man animated show. He has come out and said that he hasn't been talked to or anything, so don't expect anything for sure.
Yeah.
But that he would love to do a Spider-Man 98. And I was like, that would be so cool to have.
Continuation of that, yeah.
I would assume, I remember watching Spider-Man, and I remember X-Men being in the Spider-Man
There was a
show.
multi-part crossover, yep.
But was it these X-Men?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah? Okay, well, there you go.
Definitely that Spider-Man and these X-Men, for sure. Like, 100%.
That's pretty neat.
Yep.
I don't know. The show, I would definitely say, will subvert expectations at the very least. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little off-putting. The animation style is kind of jarring to me. I don't necessarily love. It's like the original art style, but with finer lines. It's weird. But
when it's in motion, like the choreography, or I guess choreography, but the way that like the fight scenes are and everything are so good. Like, to me, that's the best part of the animation. Is like,
yeah, it is. It can be really pretty at times.
Yes.
And their team ups, oh my gosh, it's so cool to watch them just like work together.
Ooh, I can't wait till you get to some of the more recent episodes. Then you're gonna be even more impressed.
The combos are so fun.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I think that it won't be what you expect when you're watching it. It's in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Do you have anything else to add, LJ?
No, just watch it. I mean, just people who haven't watched it, I think would really enjoy it. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Cool. And then I'm trying to go through here. Shelley, what have you been watching?
Well, speaking of Star Wars and animation, so I also, on May 4th, after watching Phantom Menace, we're like, oh, Tales of the Empire is out now. Let's just watch the first episode. So we watched just the first episode. I won't say much about like the plot or anything because it's so fresh. I don't really want to like spoil it for people. It's not necessarily at least the first one, as far as I could tell, isn't like, you know, crazy or, you know, super plot heavy. Or lore heavy as far as I can tell.
This is like an anthology series, kind of like Tales of the Jedi. Yeah,
exactly. But you know, they always throw these little references in there. But what I will say is that you guys were just talking about animation for X-Men. So the animation in Tales of the Empire is actually so good because at first glance, it looks kind of like Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, which not to say that's bad animation. It's still good animation, but it kind of just looks a bit like that style. But there's some like details and there's just some scenes where I'm just like, ooh, that's smooth and crisp. There's this like one scene where sort of main character of the first episode. She kind of like crouches down. She kind of like grabs sand in her fist, and it's just so like smooth, and I'm just like, whoa, like I don't know, it impressed me. And so I'm excited to kind of watch the rest of it. I just really dig Star Wars animations. Like, again, I didn't grow up with like Clone Wars, I didn't watch Rebels, so any of the like more quote unquote official story driven Star Wars animated shows, like I don't really know very well. Obviously I'm trying to watch through Clone Wars, but like when it comes to like the anime spin-offs and things, like I'm just like, some of this like Star Wars animations are clean. Like I'm just really impressed by it. So that's what I have to say so far. Again, only watched the first episode, but seems cool so far. Definitely taking the sort of darker look at, you know, stuff that the Empire does.
Yeah, that's neat. Speaking of Star Wars, we'll get into our trailer that came out. The Acolyte.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about it.
I didn't watch
either.
the trailer just because like we just got shown to us, right? So it's like, I don't know, second trailers always kind of like, I guess sure you want to show more, but like by the time they actually put out a second trailer, we kind of already know what it is. So unless there's like a big
learned
reveal.
nothing.
Right.
Like I'm kind of excited about it. I kind of like the Tales of the Empire. Like it's gonna fill in some gaps that we don't know about, and I'm excited about that. But I don't know what gaps really or what I'm missing until we see this.
It's High Republic stuff, so it's like way back.
Yeah.
True. So it's
but
pretty,
it looks good.
It's
it comes
neat.
out June 4th.
Yeah.
I like the cast. I really don't know. I'm hoping it's good.
It looks good.
I feel like I have little reasons to care about it, but just for the sake of Star Wars, I hope it's good too.
Yeah.
We just want good Star Wars.
We love good Star Wars. We don't always get it, but we'll take it when we get it.
I mean, see,
it used to be like any Jedi stuff was bad, and now then Ahsoka came out, and it's like, well,
true. And then this is totally different. Like we're not going to know likely any of the characters.
I feel like
very
Marvel
likely.
and Star Wars are both in a similar boat right now. Like we don't know what's going to hit and what's not, you know. So we're all kind of like,
it's all hit or miss. It really
Mandalorian
is.
was amazing until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Darn shame.
Until Boba Fett, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and season 3, but that's beside the point.
Mandalorian 3 was kind of
true.
It was kind of like,
Good, yeah.
It was good. I mean, I liked it, but
yeah.
it kind of fell off. I don't know. I just want more Andor, honestly. If we could just get more Andor.
Heck yeah. Give it to me.
I don't know.
Inject it in my veins.
Shows. Just take all of your money and put it in Andor, please. Star Wars.
Well, even just from the first episode of Empire, Tales of the Empire, I'm like, not necessarily getting Andor vibes. That's such a, not the right word to say, not vibes, but in the sense of highlighting why the Empire is bad and why it's a threat. Because what's crazy, and this is actually something I was thinking about with Phantom Menace, how like, when we were watching that, how like the original trilogy, like you don't really know much about the Empire. You don't really know much about the Sith. You don't really know much, but right from the get-go, it like tells you right away that they're bad because Darth Vader is really intimidating. And you're just like, he's like definition of intimidation, right? He just kind of walks through and just destroys people, and he has a red lightsaber. You're like, what the heck is going on? Dude, this guy's crazy. And he like, you can hear him breathing. That's really scary. And then they blow up a planet. But you don't really get to see like what else is going on. You kind of are given like, oh yeah, these are bad guys, and that's like kind of your reasons, but you're not really seeing like, why are people rising up against them? What is the actual influence and control that the Empire have? And then obviously you see that more in Rogue One, and then obviously you see that more in Andor. So I think it's cool that Tales of the Empire is kind of doing the same thing, where it's like, yeah, there's significant reason as to why people did eventually rebel, but there's also significant reason as to people were really hesitant to it, right? So very cool. Big fan.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hopefully this show won't disappoint. It comes out June 4th, so pretty soon. I feel like another month.
Yeah, it's gonna come out fast.
I'm not used to it being May, and I'm already thinking about June, and it's just throwing me off a lot.
It's like I'm supposed to be going to Disney and like Universal in August, and I'm like, oh crap, that's like not that far away now. Like, so I'm just like, oh
yeah,
it's crazy because it's just like and this is totally off topic, so I apologize. I'll keep it short, but it's just like, for me, it's like January through, around May is such a blur usually, and it's usually just one big slump.
Yeah.
And then after that, I start actually paying attention to like months and like what's happening. So now I'm kind of like, oh shoot, we're in May. We're getting to that point where I have to start caring about months again. It's not just this big schlop. So anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to Ireland in July, so I'm looking in July.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Always looking ahead, I feel like. Yeah. But we have also a trailer for Cobra Kai season 6 that also tells us nothing, really. Like, you get to see
That's a good point.
Chosen and is it Johnny? Yeah. I think everyone's name.
You forgot his name, Johnny.
It's been a while.
It's fine.
It was like Lawrence. That's what I was looking for. Was Lawrence, Johnny Lawrence.
Oh,
but,
fair.
Him and Chosen standing toe to toe like they're about to fight, and I was like, that's pretty cool. But other than that, we really don't know anything. Like, they're just fighting karate.
This is all stuff that they alluded to, like, at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai is back, and it's like, well, we kind of knew that was happening.
What is interesting about this is that it's going to be in 3 parts. Each are 5 episodes. We get 15 episodes total. The first part is coming out July 18th. Then we have to wait until November 28th. Which I feel like from July to November is a really long time for parts. Like, you're another season almost at that point.
Mm.
And then the third part, the finale, the series finale, is 2025.
Netflix looked at the Invincible release schedule and said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, we could do that.
Hold my Coors Banquet.
I was gonna say, it just reminds me of the Dragon Prince. I feel like Dragon Prince also just releases seasons really frickin' quickly. I feel like they released
they call them different seasons, and I love that. Voltron was like that. It would be like 6 months apart, 4 months apart per season. Mm-hmm. But they were new seasons. It wasn't a part 1, part 2, part 3 of a season.
It's like,
and so it just felt like I was being rewarded. Like I was just getting... I was like, I've got a whole season already, even though it was like 8 episodes and they were all 20 minutes.
Right.
Well, they always had a weird way of ending like mid-season finales rather than like... At least Voltron. Voltron was... yeah.
It's weird how like... It almost feels like it's continuing the trend that, and we talked about before about like how movies split parts and how Harry Potter kind of like kicked that off, and then Twilight did, then Hunger Games did it, a bunch of other movies did it, like the sort of 2-part Hobbit,
trend,
right?
I guess.
But I will say, at least for movies, kind of makes a bit of sense. Usually they're adaptations, adaptations from like a book or something, and they don't want to miss anything. And even if sometimes it's unnecessary, especially like The Hobbit, where they just like threw a bunch of weird filler in there that didn't need to be there.
Into 3 movies, yeah.
At least I kind of get it. Whereas this is like, you're just making me wait longer for no reason. Like, what is the reason? Like, it's not to get more. Is it to get more money out of us? Because it's not like we're going to the theater for this. Like, it's really, it just feels unnecessary. I just don't understand it.
Well, that's like with,
why not wait and just
with Invincible.
I
think with Invincible, the reason that everybody suspected was, Amazon's gonna throw ads into it. Like that's why, because they already said like that season was done. So it's just like, I don't know. Each of these companies probably has their own reasons for it, but
yeah,
Cobra Kai is kind of wild with 3 parts.
Yeah, I would have been 2 parts in a movie. Let's do that.
Ooh, yeah.
I think the movie that they're making, is it Sony making the movie?
Somebody. It's a whole new thing.
It was supposed to be nothing to do with Cobra Kai or the show, but now the guy that plays Danny, man, my names are all mixed up.
Yeah, that plays Danny.
LaRusso.
Yeah, LaRusso. Yep.
He is going to be part of that show now, that movie. So I do wonder if it's going to be some kind of crossover to Cobra Kai.
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, I think I heard that like Jackie Chan and the actor for Danny LaRusso are going to be both in it, and that would be kind of cool to mix.
That's so
the 2
weird.
shows.
Yeah,
totally weird. Yeah.
So it's just that one was so like.
Well, they both did the promotional thing for it, where they're like, "Hey, we're looking for the next Karate Kid," It's just like, okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't know. I'll be really sad to see a Cobra Kai end, but I'm very excited for the rest of it. I hope they don't do this as Stranger Things. I don't need 6 parts for Stranger Things finale.
Gosh, I didn't even think about that, but you know
they were like, how many parts can we get? You get one episode every 3 months.
5, part 1, part
so
2.
true.
They'll be like, you know what's cool? 11.
Split it into...
Stop. No way.
They could even keep the retro vibes with it and call it Side A or Side B, you know? Like,
Bro.
Yeah. No. Okay. We're into the podcast there before we get any... give anyone any ideas.
Yeah.
You guys geeking out about anything else this week?
Not really.
Nope.
Alright. Well, LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LJ the Paladin.
Well, and Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellShock24.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.